Whew. Hey, it's Stuart. Sorry, stop being serious. If you're new here, welcome to these vlogs for the 75 hard challenge. Welcome back. If you've seen the last few videos, that's very bright. These are just my own thoughts and what I take away from whichever day, however many number of days. Basically, when I forget to record, however many number of days. 21 and 22. 3 weeks in. I don't think we've ever gone this far. You know, however many times we've tried it, and I think we're in double digits of how many times I've failed, being honest. Holy shit though, this is where the part you'd expect it to feel different. And it does. Not just physically, but I don't even notice a massive shift mentally anymore, if I'm honest, but emotionally, I feel, use good words, Stuart. I feel more like I'm able to regulate, and I feel calmer in myself, and there's not as much brain fog. The way I think, the way we respond to circumstances, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I think brain fog is a major issue for so many people and they don't realize. Because I don't remember being so aware of myself in quite some time without it leading to tearing myself down and tearing myself apart and saying, you know, like, stop having these notions, you're not going to be any better than where you were or where you are now. Because I would hold myself to an insane standard. We've talked about it, I talk about countless times on social media, and let's be honest, you always slip. So I'd lose the forest for the trees, I'd slip up, I'd make a mistake, I'd fail, and my head would spiral, and I'd be like, why do I have to keep starting again and again and again? Sometimes I do learn, but not as much as what I should have. And I used to always think that I'm stuck at whatever plateau I'm on, and this is as far as I'm going to get, so I might not as well try. I talked last time, I talked quite a lot about being responsible and holding myself accountable for my actions and my intentions, and not just what I say and how I'm trying to live. And like, I failed this challenge so many times, and it's a case of monkey see, monkey do, and I used to always feel like I was a bad advocate for trying to better yourself when it came to fitness, food, mental health. And like with this challenge, this stuff that really tripped me up was probably the easiest things. Not that I'd miss an entire workout or binge on so much food. It was things like journaling, the little exercises, the small daily habits that would cultivate. And when I'd miss one, I'd spiral. And I think I shouldn't have done this. I should have had a better narrative before I started. Why did I forget something so small? Why do I fail on the little things? And that's really destructive. And it really makes you question if your capacity to grow and if you're capable of change. And the shift that I've had now is that I'm giving myself grace, but I'm holding myself accountable. Because two things at the same time. I always say, give yourself grace, give yourself grace. I hound it on social media and in wellness. I mean, it's toxic masculinity, if anything. I profess all this, and if I can't even do it, am I just like throwing shit out there that I don't believe in myself? Because if I can't do it, how can I believe others are going to better themselves by my word? But instead of beating myself up and saying I am too weak, I'm an imposter, I'm never going to be able to do it, I'm learning from it, and I can adjust, and I'm recalibrating, and more importantly, I keep going. Everything that I'm saying, I'm believing. Now, discipline is a different beast entirely. It's what I used to think was surefire willpower cultivated over time, especially when motivation is lacking, and that is what it is. You do one thing consecutively, and you push through, and it works. But it's not forcing yourself doing something every day without understanding the purpose or the why, because that leads to burnout. I mean, the simplest thing for me was doing a mantra in the morning. Having to rewire how I saw that mantra. Because if it works for everyone else, why can't I find it working for me? There are some things that Discipline is about when motivation isn't there and still having that purpose and understanding the small action will stack up. But losing the forest for the trees, we all live life, we all have shit going on, and things take priority. And it puts us in a different focus and trajectory. And that's when you forget about all the results that you've already accumulated and stacked up. And slowly they're just going to diminish and dissipate and fall at the wayside. And that's when you lose your discipline. And what I realized when I was really, and I say, use any profanity you can think of. What I used to think was that the old me would have completely spiraled, been triggered, and so self-destructive to have lashed out purposely to self-sabotage myself, made reckless decisions, impulsive decisions, and I took myself out of the situation rather than being able to respond to it. Like this happened yesterday, I took myself out into nature because there was a situation that caused me to spiral and be very triggered, and it really hit me that this was progress. Getting away, processing before reacting, and being able to respond then afterwards, being out in nature, not knowing all the answers, but recognizing that I'm about to fall into the old patterns, and I actively chose not to. And there would have been times when I would know that I'm falling into these patterns and I'd still do it, and I'd stew in that environment and that situation until either I would become so emotionally, distraught that it would destroy me, or I'd be just like, F it, you can't get any better, might as well. I keep talking about the let them theory, and it's showing up in my life. It shows up in everyone's lives because you can't force someone else to change and force them to see what they can't see. And that's a really hard pill to swallow, especially when you're really trying to help other people to see the best version of themselves or try and start on that path. And especially when it's people that you really deeply care about, when you know that they could be doing so much more and so far ahead if they literally just took that first step. But at the end of the day, that's not my battle. And all I can really do is show up for myself, do the work properly, lead by example without putting on a persona, without with actively being there for them when they want me to. I mean, if people aren't meant to take that step, they won't. And when they're ready to, they will. You can't carry other people, no matter how much you want to. And that's a really, really, really hard acceptance. I don't want to say trauma as well for me. I'm speaking personally now, but it's a really hard mentality for me to overcome. Just like no one can carry me when I'm in the trenches or in the pit. And I never really expected every people to carry me, but even from a young age, I wanted this validation that people saw me able to push through stuff and be that kind of person. And it's all from validation. I think a lot of what I've done in my life that led me up to the point where I became destructive in myself is because I yearn for so much validation from other people. But like, I'm not being demoralizing to myself. One of the biggest shifts I've made in the last year is how I feel and how I fuel my body. I mean, like, I've always had a messed up relationship with food. I've talked about my EDs online. I've been transparent with it and how it became a major part of my life, even from a thought. But the way that I either wasn't eating enough, or how I was eating, or how I had too much of the wrong things, or how I was overanalyzing everything. And now again, it's about balance. And I have the balance now that I had before, but I'm not just prioritizing, everything to a point. But now actually I am quite obsessive. That's a complete lie. How much I eat, staying within my caloric deficits, having enough calories, and having as much micronutrients as I need on a daily basis, but not feeling bad for when I eat stuff that I like, that most people would say, that's not good. Our bodies need fuel, that's great, and I make sure that I'm getting what I need without falling into this mindset that this is bad food. I allow myself to enjoy food again. it hasn't been the hardest thing, but it's been a journey. It's not really the hardest thing for any of us to do, but it's one of those things that a lot of people do struggle with because of what we see online, what we've been taught. And I'm trying to be self-aware and good and enjoy my discipline again. I feel in control. That's it. I feel in control of certain aspects of my life. It's very hard to try and resonate with other people or make people resonate with, like my own journey and vice versa. But if there's one thing I haven't figured out yet is that I have really fallen short of is sleep. It's not even really about getting into bed. That's the problem. It's actually just falling asleep because my mind is still racing from the times I used to be up so late. Also, it doesn't help the fact that I have a massive addiction when it comes to listening to true crime podcasts at night. And now, habitually, I need that before my mind will even go, oh, now we can start dozing off, listening to Chico's 3 or 4 hours worth of these videos and these Reddit stories. It's now just habitual to me. The dreams I'd have now would be quite whack. They'd be completely lucid, and I'd wake up halfway through the night. I wouldn't get enough proper REM sleep, get into a deep sleep, and yeah, even last night, oh God, I had the most lucid of dreams yet. I don't know, it was as though there was like a kidnapping or a war, and I say like true crime, but all I'm thinking is just like, was I just in Tropic Thunder? Because like, as the voices come in from the speaker, whatever my mind was interpreting. Maybe I should stop listening to people getting arrested or, trying to do burglaries or kidnappings. I think actually one of my goals in life is to be on a true crime podcast, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. No, either way, it's definitely a bad thing. Maybe I should start a true crime podcast. I can't really complain about the fitness aspect because like the discipline and the motivation. The discipline and the motivation to get in here has always been there. This has always been a haven for me, for when my thoughts go wild or even just on a daily basis, trying to improve myself physically. If you're trying to have a habit change, if you're trying the 75, if you have either succeeded or failed, just welcome to the club. Like, we've all been there. And, I'll probably be there again at some point. And it's always remembering, like, failure isn't the end, but the only time you truly fail is when you stop trying. It used to remind me a lot when I used to dance, and I was a horrible dancer. Like, just hands down, I wasn't good. I had a lot of passion, couldn't follow rhythm. And even now, like, I'm still not the best when I'm on stage, and I could have the easiest of choreography, but it was just the ability to get up, take the criticisms, take the notes, get going again, and just keep on trying to improve. Because at the end of the day, it's not a goal to be perfect, and it's a goal to be better. I've hounded that so long into myself, but I believe it, and then I forget it, and then I remind myself of it, and I try to accept it again, and it's just hard. But yeah, for today, I'm worrying about my stuff, my shit, my baggage, and no one. And I'm not worrying about things I can't control. I hope this was a little bit more uplifting than last time, because I saw your messages, and I'm sorry, these vlogs are not meant to be demoralizing to me or my character or my mental health, but I keep on saying these are really just like a reflection of what I'm trying to hold myself accountable for, and just having moments of clarity from where I was to where I am now and where I need to proceed. I'm not trying to destroy myself. They're just waffles, really. Hey, this is Stuart. Have a good day. Day 21 and 22 recap. I need to stretch.